Almost. There we are. We'll call this meeting to order of the City Council. It's February 18th. If you'll join us in the Pledge of Allegiance, if you'd like to. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, everyone, and welcome. Glad to have you here with us tonight. We need to start with a roll call. Ms. Harris, will you help us with that?
Yes, Mayor. Councilmember Lind is absent, but we do have a quorum.
Thank you. We have an agenda before us. Is there any discussion or changes to that agenda that we need to consider? If there is not, I'll entertain a motion to approve the agenda.
Make that motion.
Mr. Sellers. Is there Mr. Welling seconding? Any discussion? If there's no discussion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Are there any opposed? We have an agenda. We have the City Council minutes for February 4th. Any concerns with those minutes?
Nope.
If not, we will... Oh, I need to do them together. Let's do the same thing with the work session minutes from February 11th. I read them separately, and then I need to just include them all together since it's just an acknowledgement. We're not voting. So let's consider the work session for February 11th as well. If there's any concerns regarding either of those minutes. If not, we will acknowledge those as they've both been prepared. We'll go on to the bills. You have a warrant register with today's date on it. Any concerns regarding those bills or questions? If there's none, I'll entertain a motion to approve the bills.
I'll make that motion, Your Honor.
Perks.
Second, Your Honor.
Schmidt seconding. Any discussion? If there's no discussion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Are there any opposed? That's approved. We'll go on to the revenue and expenditure report for October. Any concerns there? If none, I'll entertain a motion to approve that report.
I'll make that motion, Your Honor.
Mr. Welling with a motion. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Mr. Sellers seconding. Any discussion? If there's no discussion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Are there any opposed? That's approved. Thank you. Council comments. Mr. Schmidt, what do you have for us tonight, sir?
The only thing I'd like to pass on our condolences to Lander Mayor Monty Richardson
Yeah.
for his passing, and pass our condolences on to his family and wish them well.
Absolutely, yes. I know that was, don't know any of the circumstances, but I know it was absolutely unexpected. So,
Yes, sir.
yeah. Mr. Parks.
I have nothing tonight, Your Honor.
Mr. Welling.
I don't have anything, Your Honor.
Mr. Sellers.
If you've been watching the paper and stuff, we've had a lot of people in our community passing away and stuff, and then with the accident in Green River, there's just been a lot of kind of sad things happening around. So be mindful of others. Be able to try to help people in time of need. If you hear people needing help, remember there's help out there. A simple phone call at 988 can help people. And you know, sometimes just having a friend to talk to is a nice thing too. So if you know somebody who's struggling and you're their friend, sometimes I know it gets hard to just sit and listen, but sometimes it's the best thing you can do.
Ms. Hageman.
I just wanted to give my condolences. I guess that's the word that I want to use. I'm not sure if that's the right one, to the federal employees that were laid off today from around the state and here locally in our Forest Service. These are trying times for you, and it's a scary thing for people in our community to lose some of the most secure jobs, and it's frightening. So my heart goes out to them and their families, and so yeah, that's it. And if they need to reach out, we're here.
Thank you. Well, I'll just simply add my amen to much of that. I know that with the tragedy that happened in the Green River Tunnel, that I guess my thoughts have been with not only those involved in that accident, but those responding to that accident. Having been a first responder myself for the better part of 3 decades, I can only imagine what that must have been like, and I'm trying to think how many times I've traveled through those tunnels without a second thought, or sometimes without even sadly slowing down. And maybe my viewpoint will be a little bit different there. That's a horrific accident, and 3 individuals lost their lives, and many others were affected. And so our thoughts are certainly with all of those involved. Or mine are anyway. I know yours are as well. We'll go on to some board appointments. I'll give these to you as a list. If we need to discuss them some other way, we can. But it's that time of year again. We need to make some of these appointments. Diane tells me that we're almost done with them. We got one, maybe just one left after this.
I think so.
And then board appointments. So I'll give these to you as a list, and then we can act on them. I'd like you to consider Don Larson for an appointment on the Joint Powers Board, a 3-year term in January 2028. Our Historic Preservation Commission, Tiffany Sager and Jared Barnes, both 3-year terms to in January 2028 as well. Our Urban Systems Board, Gordon Robinson, Dwayne Jacobson, and Henry Schmidt, to all serve a 2-year term to in January 2027. And our Revolving Loan Fund Board, Trudy Lim, to serve on that board for a 3-year term to in January of 2028. If somebody would like to make a motion to that effect.
I'll make that motion, Your Honor.
Mr. Welling, is there a second?
I'll second.
Mr. Sellers seconding. Any discussion?
Once again, I'd like to thank everybody that serves on boards for our community. They're definitely a backbone that keeps us moving forward, so thank you.
I'd like to ask Jim Davis and Shelley Horn.
I have visited with Shelley, haven't visited with Mr. Davis. They both expressed a willingness to serve. The reason well, Tiffany is already on there. The reason I'm kind of considering a change, and Mr. Horn and I had a conversation the other day, just to give others an opportunity to serve, maybe a changing of the guard, and maybe not so much, but both Mr. Davis and Mr. Horn have served long careers on that, and in my estimation, it's just time to spread that experience and that wealth just a little bit. I think Mr. Barnes will be a valuable asset on that commission. He comes with a great love of the community and a great history of the community. He's been here all his life. And quite honestly, Jim and Shelley, neither one of them are going too far. They'll still be involved in attending meetings and providing experience. And
Because that's invaluable experience. Yeah, we can't get that in a textbook or anybody else. You know, that's just comes with age and wisdom.
that's my thinking there. Any further discussion? If there is none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Are there any opposed? We appreciate all of those individuals and their willingness to serve. We've got a couple of awards, and I need to come down here to do this, I'm told, so if you'll bear with me for a second. Dan, would you like to come up there a second? I can. Please. I have a statement here that's been prepared for me, so as I read it, I hope it doesn't paint too good of a picture of you, because
I would hope.
I don't know. If I read, if it gets a little too mushy, I'll stop. Tonight it is my honor to recognize an individual who embodies the spirit of service and dedication to our community. The Evanston Above and Beyond Award is given to those who selflessly invest their time, energy, and expertise to make Evanston a better place to live, work, and play. This year's recipient, Dan Wheeler, has demonstrated an unwavering commitment to our community through his service on the Lodging Tax Board, Uintah County Economic Development, Uintah County School District No. 1 Board, and the Wyoming Community Foundation. Through these roles and countless other efforts, Dan has played a key part in shaping Evanston's future, fostering community growth, and enhancing the quality of life for all of us. His leadership, generosity, and dedication have left a lasting impact on our community in 2024 and beyond. On behalf of the City of Evanston, I want to thank Dan for his service and congratulate him on this well-deserved recognition. Thank you, Dan, for going above and beyond.
The only thing I would want to say is I would like to thank the mayor, the city council, and the city of Evanston. Just thank you very much.
Thank you.
There's probably more boards he's on that we didn't find.
Is this for him?
There's a couple more boards I know he sits on.
Yes. And I also have another little statement here, Julie O'Connell, who's not with us tonight, but I want to read this. At any rate, tonight we also have the privilege of honoring someone whose dedication and leadership have helped shape the heart of our community, our downtown. For the past 10 years, Julie O'Connell has been a driving force behind the Evanston Urban Renewal Agency, working tirelessly to revitalize and strengthen our downtown district. Julie brought not only her business expertise, but also an unmatched work ethic and passion for making Evanston a better place. Under her leadership, the URA has grown into a powerful force for good, transforming our downtown through key projects, community programs, and initiatives that have had a lasting impact. Her efforts have helped preserve the character of our community while creating new opportunities for businesses, residents, and visitors alike. On behalf of the City of Evanston, I want to extend my heartfelt appreciation to Julie for her decade of service. Her commitment and vision have left a lasting legacy, and we are grateful for everything she has done to make Evanston a better place. Julie, thank you for your dedication to our community. Julie's not here, but we do have a similar award for Julie, and we will get that to her, but just wanted to have that recognized here tonight. So appreciate Julie. If we can. I have long felt that one of the things that makes our community as great as it is the spirit of volunteerism and the spirit of being involved. And I greatly appreciate all those who serve on these boards that we just made and different efforts such as we did with Mr. Wheeler and Ms. O'Connell. Just thank you. It seems small, but quite honestly, that's what makes this little community as great as it is. And so thank you. We'll go now to our consent agenda item. We have one. It's a malt beverage permit. Mr. Passanelli of Arts Inc. A couple of Friday and Saturday in March for a limited malt beverage permit. Is there... Mr. Sellers, you said you wanted to recuse yourself from that. We'll recognize that. Mr. Sellers' wife sits on that board or serves on that board. So I'll entertain a motion to approve our consent agenda.
I'll make that motion, Your Honor.
I'll second it, Your Honor.
Mr. Perks seconding. Is there any discussion?
I think it gets bigger and bigger every year. There's a lot of out-of-state plates when I go down there. That's impressive how many it draws from not only Utah, but Colorado and all over. Good job.
Excellent. Yes. Any further discussion? If there's none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Are there any opposed? That takes care of our consent agenda. Thank you, and good luck on your festival. We'll go now to unfinished business, and we'll start there with ordinance 2501. Mr. Harris, read that title for us, please.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Ordinance 2501 is an ordinance approving and authorizing a zone change for property in the city of Evanston from public zone to highway business established zone as requested by AGN LLC, DBA Aspen Grove Nursery of the land more particularly described herein. This is on third and final reading.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Jacobson.
Yeah, Mayor and Council, I don't have anything new to add that hasn't been presented during first and second reading. Just kind of restate what we're looking at doing. So the property that's being considered to be rezoned is 196 Bear River Drive. It is probably best known as the former Sunset RV cabin site. And what is being proposed is presently the property is zoned public and is proposed to change zoning to highway business to allow commercial uses at that location.
There's been no change in the property involved, and there's no change in the language of the zoning or the ordinance itself.
Yeah, there's been no changes.
We have a sponsor for this. This is third reading. I'll entertain a motion to approve ordinance 2501 on third and final reading.
I'll make that motion.
Mr. Sellers with a motion.
I'll second.
Mr. Wetland, seconding?
Yes.
Any discussion?
Wish them well.
Absolutely. Hope it's a successful venture for them. And it's good to see some commerce happening on that end of town. It's been kind of a tough area for businesses to survive down there. We wish them well.
That property has sat vacant for many, many years.
Long time. That's correct. So, any further discussion? If there's none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Are there any opposed? That is approved on third and final reading. Thank you. We'll go now to new business, Resolution 2511. Mr. Harris, read that title for us, please.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Resolution 2511 is a resolution of the City of Evanston, Wyoming, authorizing the execution of an engineering services agreement with IGES, Inc. to provide engineering services relating to a geotechnical analysis of conditions and mitigation strategy of the Evanston Recreation Center site.
Thank you. I don't see Kim here, but, oh, you're...
Yes.
Please.
If I may, Mr. Mayor.
Absolutely. Please help us.
Ms. Larson told us at staff meeting last week she would be gone, and she brought this, actually sent the proposed agreement to Mr. Newsom and I just a couple days before our last regular meeting, so we couldn't get it on the agenda. As you recall, in December, the council approved a professional service agreement with Crest LLC to do some work that originally started with the roof project. And in an analysis, we found out we had some drainage issues that were affecting a retaining wall and fill area east side of the building. So the agreement with Crest has been entered. It was approved by the council. Crest has recommended that Geotech Services be a geotechnical engineering company be retained to perform geotechnical analysis. IGES does that. They submitted a proposal for $7,500 for those services. The contract will be coordinated between Crest LLC and IGES, and they'll perform a report and do some potholing, which Crest has arranged as part of their services.
Okay, sounds good. Is there an introduction on this resolution?
I'll introduce it with a motion to pass, Your Honor.
Mr. Perks, with a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Schmidt, okay, seconding. Any discussion?
Got a quick question.
Please.
Anybody with IGES, is that a Wyoming-based company, or any of the employees here in Evanston, or are we going to get any of that money back some way, somehow?
Mr. Mayor?
Please.
Councilmember Hageman, I do not believe that IGES is a Wyoming company. and I do not believe they have any locally. There are no local geotech firms that I'm aware of that perform these type of services. I mean, locally, I know there's none in Uintah County.
Right.
I imagine there's some in Wyoming, but where they are, I'm not sure.
It's a specialty field as far as engineering services go, so it would be something if a community our side had a geotechnical engineer available, yes. But, point well taken. Any further discussion? If there is none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Are there any opposed? Resolution 25-12. Mr. Harris, please.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of the council. Resolution 25-12 is a resolution of the city of Evanston, Wyoming, to amend a portion of the city's master plan to authorize a highway business established zone for the real property designated herein and requested by the city of Evanston.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Jacobson.
So this is the second part to the zone change. Looking at the city's comprehensive plan, presently it shows land use as public. We're changing the land use plan from public to highway business to reflect current zoning of the property and current use of the property.
Excellent. Self-explanatory relative to our ordinance that we just passed here just a minute ago, so I think as everybody's familiar with what we're doing here, and all, is there an introduction on this resolution?
I'll introduce with the motion to pass, please.
Sellers of the motion, is there a second?
I'll second it.
Mr. Welling, seconding. Discussion. There's no discussion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Are there any opposed? That takes care of it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Departments, let's see, who all do we have? Mr. O'Neill, you have anything for us tonight? Mr. Pearson? Ms. Lim? Mr. Jacobson, anything else from planning or engineering? Okay. Ms. Harris? Mr. Harris?
Nothing, Your Honor.
Nothing? Public participation, is there anyone here from the public that would like to address the council for any reason?
Me again, Marika Rossi. Do you want my address again? 800 County Road 167 in Evanston. So I am feeling like I'm getting the runaround about the hospital site from a lot of people, and I feel like things are going ahead and there is not any transparency. This is something that's happening in Evanston, and I want to know what's going on. Do you have anything new?
I have nothing new. What, is there a specific question that you have?
Well, I got the information that Mr. Harris sent to me and got the runaround from them, that they're not in charge of it, that it's the health department or something, and even though I reframed my question 2 or 3 times, I'm still getting the runaround. Also, I don't want to throw anybody under the bus, but I'm hearing different things in town. As you know, we run the bakery, so people come in and talk to us. And Mayor, when Alex and I talked to you after your meeting last week, you said that the dump site has lots and lots of room if those buildings that are slated to be demolished at the hospital need to go into the dump, that they can. But then I read an article in the newspaper that we're worried about not having enough space in there. But I heard from somebody that there's already space at the dump that is slated for that, and the plans are going ahead. So I want to know what the truth is. I'm a citizen. I want to know what's going on in our town, and I'm really getting frustrated with, you know, what information I can't find out. I'm a citizen of Wyoming. I should be able to know this stuff. And you guys should know it. This is happening in our town. So I want some answers.
Well,
Sorry.
I'll do my best to answer them if somebody else wants to chime in. When we talked the other day, you had mentioned a concern for the capacity of the landfill to accept the debris, accept the buildings. And the long and short of that is, as I mentioned in our meeting the other day, the landfill is operated by the county, and the landfill in and of itself comprises a full section of ground. That's a square mile. That's 640 acres. So the capacity of the landfill is very large. Now, will all the buildings go to the landfill? As I mentioned the other day, I have no idea. That would simply be up to a demolition contractor and whatever they do with that, if and when that time comes. So, will all of that go to the landfill? I can't answer that. I don't know. Is there capacity there? Yes.
Can I stop you for just a second?
Sure.
I'm sorry. I really don't care about that part of it. What I care about is that it sounds like everything's going ahead, and we have no answers, no way of affecting the decision or helping with the decision, and this is in the middle of our territory here, and I don't want something else to happen there, and I'm feeling like the landfill is just one of those things that tells me that I'm not hearing the whole truth.
Well,
and
I'm sorry you feel that way. What I will say is that the discussions relative to the state hospital, as we mentioned the other day, have been going on for near 10 years now. The property has always been owned and managed by the state of Wyoming, and the several departments, the Department of Health being one of them. I think there's other departments that have a hand in the goings-on with that property. And so what exactly the current status of that is, I don't know. And that's an honest statement. I don't know, because those decisions are right now in the hands of the state of Wyoming. And we've been included in some of those discussions. I will tell you that I have not been in any discussions relative to the state hospital other than just a few here and there conversations since we took our tour with the Department of Health last summer. And so to say, it's moving forward, I don't know how to qualify that because the decision is still in the hands of the state of Wyoming, which in my mind is where it belongs. And so that's the answer. How easy or difficult that is to hear, I don't know how to change that.
so if something's going on in the middle of Evanston and the state owns part of the property, they can just do whatever they want without your consent or mine? Is that what you're telling me?
And I don't want to argue with you here, but do you not have the ability to make decisions for property that you own, whether it's within the city or not? The bakery,
If I affect my neighbors, then no, I don't have those decision-making abilities sometimes. If I'm bombing my property, my neighbors aren't going to like that.
Well, I believe you do have control over the property that you own, and the state has the property has jurisdiction or decision-making authority with regard to property that they own and control. Now, we have been involved in those discussions, and I have every reason to believe that we will be included in further discussions when they happen. But that's where it sits right now. I don't think there's been, I hope you're not suggesting that something has been hidden from you, because that's not the case. Again, the decision is in the hands of the state of Wyoming right now, and it's their property. I don't know how to make that.
But it's in the middle of our city, and they have involved us in conversation for 10 years, as you said.
But they have involved us in many discussions. That's what I'm saying. They've involved us in many discussions over the last 10 years. Now, in the last few years, last 2 or 3, those discussions have kind of went, because a lot of decisions relative to the potential for demolition, those discussions have taken place. And again, it's with the hands of the state. And so I don't know how to resolve your concerns.
Well, I don't have anybody to go to find out what's happening or how we can use that property in a good way. It's in a really prime location. I pass that every single day coming in and out of town. And I feel like it's important since it's public. It belongs to all of us.
Absolutely.
Wyoming is us, right? So I feel like we should be able to have some decision-making in that, and I'm fairly new to the area, the last 5 years, and I want to make sure that it's something good. But if I can't even get a hold of somebody to talk about it, I mean, it's a real frustration to me right now that I'm getting the runaround from our senators and people like that for political decision-making that they're doing that I don't approve of. And I feel like at least here, I can see you face to face and talk to you about these things, and I get that Wyoming owns that property. But so far, I haven't been able to find out what I need to as a citizen to even understand exactly what's happening next.
Please, if you
Mr.
have
Mayor.
some insight.
The last official action by the state of Wyoming, last biannual budget, and funds have been allocated by the state to demolish portions of those structures or all of them at some point in time. It's a phased demolition approach. A year ago, the Wyoming legislature passed a pause on the demolition. As far as I know, after, if nothing has changed in this session of the Wyoming legislature, the demolition phase that was scheduled to start last year would start this year. Now, that's my understanding. So there is a plan. The plan is one of demolition. That's the last formal action that was taken by the legislature.
Correct.
So how much notice do you get when the state decides that they want to make a change in Evanston, like roads or, you know, the highway or whatever? I guess the highway is federal, right? But
To make a change in Evanston,
well, if there are lands here that are owned by the state of Wyoming, how much time and do you get to talk to the state of Wyoming? I mean, there must be some rule that says they have to give you a certain amount of notice. If this is all slated to happen next month, then you don't get any notice, you don't get any say.
I don't know what that would be. I don't know what that would.
So in all the time that you've been the mayor, which is a long time, the state has not come to you and said, we're doing this project in your area, they just come and do it?
I've been involved in many over the last 10 years, many discussions and meetings, absolutely, and I've said that. Through all of those meetings, ultimately, the decision was made by the state to pursue demolition. That was delayed, as Mr. Harris talked about, and now it looks like the delay in that is now, that year-long is coming to a close. Exactly what the time frame might be after that, I have not been made aware. I don't know. I don't know what that is at this point. Does that, will they start immediately? I don't know. I don't know.
So are you all telling me that I have no recourse as a citizen to find out what's happening, or where's the transparency in all of this? If they just start demolishing that next week, that's okay with everybody, and I just have to accept that? Is that what you're telling me?
I don't know how to. I don't know how to resolve that concern.
I'm going to jump in here.
Please. Go ahead.
So the hospital is currently by the state. It has to be funded again by this session, so I don't know if it's been funded again, because they can move money around per session, and the third bills are going through at the moment. So whether that money has been reallocated to demolish, I'm skeptical of that because of all the cutbacks that are being done. But even if it is, because it is in the hands of the state, you as an individual and as a citizen and as a citizen of Wyoming, it is your absolute right. They're spending your money and all of ours,
Right?
to take those down. That is your money. It is my money, and it is everyone that sits up here and in this room's money. And if you want to know where your money is going and how it is being spent, then the people to talk to are your 2 state reps and your senator. And you ask them what they are doing with your money. Because that is a huge, millions and millions and millions of dollars. 59 was the estimate, a couple $1 million to demolish that was the estimate. It's this, every single citizen of Wyoming's taxpayer dollars that are being spent on that. And if they want them spent on roads, tunnels, sewage systems, wildlife, jobs, improvements, then they need to let their senators and their representatives know how they want their money spent. You are their boss. They work for you.
I agree, but I'm getting the runaround there too. So I was hoping that face-to-face with a body like this, that at least maybe this can trickle up. Say that lady, Marika, nags us at every single meeting because we need to do something about this.
The information, call the legislators. You certainly have the ability to call the State Department of Health. How to wrangle that, I don't know, but you certainly have the ability to call any of those individuals. I can just simply tell you that we have been involved I have been involved in many meetings over the course of the last 10 years, and I have every confidence that we will be included in any future meetings that are held. But that's where it's at. We're not trying to hide anything. There's nothing to hide at this point. So I don't know how to resolve that concern. I can easily tell you that I can look you right in the eye and say I've never lied to you about anything relative to the state hospital, and I'll tell anybody that. But it's in the hands of the state. I think it rests there best. It's best served to stay right there. I have been very open in my feeling that the city does not need to take part in that project or in the liability associated with the cost of that renovation or demolition, either one. It's simply beyond the reach of us as a community. We just simply don't have the resources to do anything there, and that responsibility lies best with the state. It's more money than we have, and perhaps less money than the state is willing to spend, but it's the state's responsibility, and I'm reluctant to accept any of that, given the large amounts of money that we're talking about, just beyond our reach financially as a community.
Yes, and you have been very clear about that, and I appreciate the way you feel about it, and also the way everybody else feels about it. I just still feel like, if there are no secrets, then why can't I get the answers? And it's not just from you, it's from the people that, the resources that you sent to me, that Mr. Harris sent to me, and our representatives and senator, and I'm not getting any relief, and I'm very frustrated. It isn't that I want Evanston to spend money on that. I just feel like it's a huge waste, and I think that we should, there should be some solution that we can all come to the table with, and I'm afraid about if the state has a hand in, obviously the state owns the land, but what's going to happen there? I'm really worried about it.
Well, I respect that.
Thank you.
And I think we're all interested in seeing what happens. I'm very interested in what happens with the property up there. Even if the buildings do come down ultimately, I'm still very concerned and very much wanting to be involved in those discussions as a community. And I have every reason to believe that we will be included. The state will want our input. I've had conversations with the governor himself, face-to-face conversations about it. But there's a lot that's yet to be determined, I guess.
Apparently.
Yeah. So.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Anything from anybody else?
Yes, ma'am. I'd like to just make a couple comments, if I may, and I'm sorry I didn't hear your name, but
Mareka.
Marissa. You know, and I worked for the county also at the landfill, and I can tell you I haven't heard anything of any plans on anything coming to the landfill from this site. If there is, I'll be asking about it, but I haven't heard anything working there. Secondly, you know, I've been researching the viability of this structure up here in the properties, and I've talked with people, and I have some of the same frustrations as you have, is trying to get answers from the state. I have learned that, you know, the state, it's in their hands at this point. I mean, you know, they have to make the decision on what they're going to do with it. And I know the mayor has spoke with them numerous times trying to get some answers himself. But I think I'm going to meet, I know we have until March 22nd, and that's a short period of time from now. And I don't know what the cost of the renovation would be, but I know it'd be a lot of money to renovate those buildings. I know it'll be a lot of money to tear down those buildings. I don't know what the cost to a private individual, if there's any individuals out there that are looking at trying to make something out of the buildings. I know there was some interest at some point before my time, and I would like to see some investors come in and say, yeah, we'd love to renovate this site, but I don't know if it's cost effective. I'm not I can't say that. But I am researching, and I'm still working on it, trying to get some answers myself. And I hope to be able to give you some answers next meeting.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks.
Is there anyone else that would like to address the council? Okay.
And again, I'm not there, I'm personal. Okay. Kane Pyatt, 1237 Uena Street, number 9. I have 3 things I'd like to talk to you about. First of all, I would like to ask for your get well and good wishes sent to Charisma Hart, my little intern that helped me out. She is in Primary Children's Hospital on intravenous feeding. She was sick for 2.5 weeks. They kept telling her it was a virus. She threw up so much that she tore a hole in her esophagus. So she's in pretty bad shape. So please think about her and send her good well wishes. The second thing is I'd like to ask if these tapes of these meetings could be more timely put online. I have a hard time hearing, and I know I'm not the only one, especially when people over here are talking or out here are talking, and I don't want to make mistakes in my reporting. So by Friday at the latest, because my deadline is Sunday, and I like to check things out and make sure I've heard correctly. So I'm just asking, please, please. One of the meetings wasn't put on until the following week after the next meeting, and it just makes it impossible for me to check things out. So thank you. The last thing is, if you are not going to appoint Jim Davis and Shelley Horn back on the Historic Preservation Commission, they have all the knowledge, all the history, all of the information, and new people won't have that. It'll be like starting it all over again. And I've only been on the commission a year and have just barely been able to pick up some of the information and the connections with the state and what needs to be done. So if they're not going to be appointed again, I'm tendering my resignation from the Historic Preservation Commission. And if you need that in writing, I will put it in writing.
Fair enough.
Thanks.
Anyone else? Absolutely.
Eric Passanelli, 159 Comanche Court. I would just like to express gratitude for the malt beverage permit approval again, and say thank you for the many years of support from this body and the city employees at large.
Excellent. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good luck on your festival. Hope it's a raving success. Is there anyone else that would like to address the council for any reason tonight? If not, we will adjourn. Thank you, everyone.